my review of WWE Raw recommencing January 9th. So if you could like, subscribe, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much for being here. So KO comes out. He basically starts talking about how he wants to face Roman Reigns at a Royal Rumble and he's going to beat Roman Reigns. While he says that, whose music hits? It's JBL. JBL comes out and obviously starts ripping the crowd. But he did say the only person to pin Roman Reigns recently, his last pin, was to this man he brought out, the current apparently wrestling god Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin basically comes out and says he's the guy, he's the man, he's going to beat KO and he's going to win the Royal Rumble. Why he was saying that KO played like he was sleeping. And JBL says to KO, are you suffering? Are you in a food coma? I thought that was a really funny line. But anyway, so that led into KO versus Baron Corbin one-on-one. Really good match. But in the end, KO hits the stone cold, well, the stunner, and gets victory. But soon after that, he's beaten down by the Bloodline, who just turned up from nowhere, obviously looking to ripe him up for Royal Rumble. But KO fends him off with chairs. Then we have Usos and Solo basically walking backstage, about to leave the building. And then Adam Pearce goes, you ain't going anywhere. You're not done working tonight. You're still clocking in. So then we're going to have, he mentioned that Solo is going to be in a match against Dolph Ziggler. And there's going to be a tag team turmoil match to decide who's the next contender for the Raw tag team championships. So it looks like they're making an emphasis on the Raw tag team championships. So it looks like they're going to look to split them up sooner or later, the tag team championships. Then we have Alexa Bliss basically talking about how she's got into Bianca Belair's head and she's going to take Bianca Belair's title. And then all the Bray Wyatt stuff starts happening on the Titantron. Uncle Howdy's there saying, so you think you're in charge? Sort of taking it from Bane from Dark Knight Batman. No, Dark Knight Rises Batman. And then Uncle Howdy comes out and he starts doing his hand gestures. So we will see what happens. Then we had another match, Mia Jin versus Bayley. Before the match, Bayley was saying she was basically just ripping Becky Lynch. And Bayley won by roll up with her foot on the ropes. Of course she did. Then Austin Theory comes out basically saying the champ is here, saying he's not the past, he's the current, he's the future, and he's forever. He's the guy, he's the best. Then Seth Rollins comes out with a crutch, playing like he's injured. Then he started dancing with a crutch, so it seems like he was fine. Obviously, the crowd was singing his music. Yeah, he's singing his music. And then he was basically saying he just wants to beat down... well, he said he's going to take a little time off and then he'll recover his leg and then he'll be back at Royal Rumble to take everything. As he's walking away, the music hits. Dun, 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 dun. I've been asking on my shorts, I'm saying, where is Bobby Lashley? Has anyone seen Bobby Lashley on my shorts? You can check my shorts out as well. Bobby Lashley turns up and he basically just cuts through Theory and says he's going to be in a Royal Rumble. So let's see what happens. Then we had Rhea Ripley versus Candice. Rhea Ripley just made light work of her and won the match. Then in the backstage, we have Bobby Lashley and MVP having a little talk. MVP looks like he wants to do some business again. He wants to reopen the Hurt business again. Get the business back open again. I don't know if it's ceased trading right now, but he's looking to open the business back up. So and try and mend fences. Bobby was like, we'll talk at some point. Then had a sort of a homage to Cody Rhodes, sort of showing his road to recovery of that nasty, horrible pec injury he had. His chest is all purple. So they're showing back when he's coming back. I think that's going to lead on the end of that to him saying, I'm back at Royal Rumble, probably. Then we had Ziggler backstage, said he's ready for Solo. And then Mustafa Ali turns up saying to Ziggler, what are you doing? We had a tag team turmoil match as tag team, but you turned it down. Ziggler said it's not about a tag team, it's about himself. Then we had Bronson Reed in the back getting interviewed to why he's helping Miz, and basically says, if Miz doesn't pay me, I'm doing nothing. So that's that. Then we had Solo versus Ziggler. Yes, of course, Solo won. Then we had Mia Chin in the back after she had a match with Bayley. Then she caught another beat down for her troubles as well. So, yeah, great. Then we had Miz TV with Dominic on there basically saying he was locked in prison. He did hard time. he was bullying people in prison. And then Miz started questioning what he was saying, like, did you really do a lot of time? Apparently you only did 6 hours. And then as they were sort of getting into it and the Judgment Day was getting in Miz's face, the OC come out. Then it leads us nicely into the tag team turmoil match, where it's basically a gauntlet tag team match. So it started with the Judgment Day versus the OC in a really good match, but the Judgment Day beat the OC. Then we had the Judgment Day versus Cedric and Shelton Benjamin, who seem to be coming back to form the Bloodlines. It's good to see Judgment Day win that again. Then we had the Alpha Academy versus Judgment Day. Judgment Day win that again. So Judgment Day is on a bit of a roll. So in the last match going into the final turmoil match, it seemed like Finn Balor was injured, so he couldn't continue because he got a big splash from Otis. So they said you have to bring someone in instead. I thought they was actually going to bring a Rhea Ripley, but they're bringing Dominic to continue the turmoil tag team match. And the final participants was Judgment Day versus the Street Profits. Really good match, but in the end, Judgment Day win. And then at the end of the match, because this was the main event of the evening, the Usos come out and hold the titles in their face for the championship title shot. So we will see what happens there. Then we go over to SmackDown, which starts with Braun versus Gunther for the IC Championship. Really good match, but in the end, Gunther defends his title. I will say that I heard that Braun Strowman's getting a bit of heat for the things he's been saying on Twitter. That has led to him sort of losing here and there. So maybe you should stay off Twitter, mate. Then we got Sami Zayn in the back, basically about to knock the Bloodlines door, but then Paul H comes out and says, "What's up, bro?" And he said, Sami was like, "I want to talk strategy with the guys." And then Paul H says, "The guys ain't here, it's just me. Roman Reigns want you to do this on your own and show this can be done and you can handle business on your own. See you later." And then it was Rey Mysterio came to the ring saying he's entering the Royal Rumble. Then Karrion Kross comes down with Scarlett, basically ripping into Rey, saying he's a bad father. And then obviously they started brawling, because you would start brawling if someone said that you was a bad father. Then we had Liv Morgan and the ladies in the back basically talking about the Royal Rumble, which led Liv Morgan to slap Raquel in her face and go, "Hey, let's talk about you being the strongest person in the ring, let's go." Then we had Xia Li versus Tegan in a good match, which Tegan won. Then we had Drew and Sheamus in the back saying that they want the Viking Raiders, and Adam Pearce goes, "Yeah, that's right, you can have the Viking Raiders because we're starting a SmackDown tag team turmoil match." So it looks like they're going to try and take the titles off the Usos. So let's see what happens there. And it's going to be next week on SmackDown. Then we had Bray Wyatt come out, basically calls out LA Reid and says there's going to be a lot of darkness in this pitch black match. And after he finished talking, it went to the old outro for when he first came as Bray Wyatt. So let's see, he might be coming back with his, I don't know, his hat and stuff and the goat masks, etc. So we'll see. Then we had KO and Sami Zayn in the back, and they're basically going back and forth with Sami Zayn blaming KO for turning up on SmackDown, but KO blames Sami Zayn for letting the Bloodline run their mouth and getting his business, which started all this. Then Gunther in the back states to everybody that he is entering the Royal Rumble. He ain't gonna win. Then we had Liv Morgan versus Raquel in a really good match. But in the end, Raquel won, so she could be the next winner of that Women's Royal Rumble. I wouldn't be surprised if she won. Then we had Sonya Deville in the back saying she wants to face Charlotte Flair again because she wants another shot at Charlotte Flair. So Adam Pearce goes, "Well, you can have another shot if you go through 29 other women." And then Sonya Deville took things into her own hands and started brawling with Charlotte Flair in the back. So I'm sure it's going to be them two at Royal Rumble. It would make sense. There you go, WWE, this gave you a match. You're welcome. Then we had the Cody Rhodes video of his return, the same one that ran on Raw. So that was playing. And then in the main event of the evening, we had Sami Zayn versus KO. It started off as a really good match because these two always have good matches. They've had a match at WrestleMania. These guys can always go. They've been wrestling for years upon years on the indies and on television on WWE. But in the end, it was a DQ because the Bloodline came in and decimated KO and Solo, put him through a table. So that's that. So that's my review of Raw in under 10 minutes. If you could like and subscribe, that would be so kind of you. Thank you very much.